Out. Okay, looks like we're both live on Facebook Live and on this webinar, right? Roman, nice
Right,
to
right. We can
nice to see you, man. Nice to see you and chat with you, man.
Yeah, likewise here.
Definitely. I mean, we've been chatting on the phone for quite some time, anyway. Now it's nice to put a face to a name anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I really thank you for willing to actually go the extra mile and host the seminar webinar for us. So it looks like we're going to be getting some attendees right now. They should be joining around 3 o'clock. It's like only 3 minutes before that, but um, so was that? Yeah. So basically, before the attendees join, I just wanted to say, kind of like the household rules. Basically, we're probably gonna have some moderators here attending with us, who will be because people will be able to ask questions, and we're gonna be able to answer those questions. Me and you. I also have my content girl here, doing the video of us. So we'll be sharing it on Instagram as well. All right. Yeah. Sima is taking care of that. And looks like we have a couple more minutes left. And I know some people are already watching on Facebook Live. But anyway, Roman, why don't you tell us where you are at and what do you usually do? What do you usually do with in your business? Looks like you're in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, I'm from Pittsburgh. I started in real estate. I got my license in 2014, so almost
Oh, okay.
5 years ago. Initially, I started with a team,
Okay.
buyer agent, and I started with pretty big local broker who was running a team, and uh, when I initially started, that was the way to go. I didn't do any
Okay.
configuration. I received leads, and most likely all I got to do is call the number that was provided by the broker
Okay.
and go show homes. Nothing, no scripts, nothing planned, no strategies. Just straightforward. Got the phone call, got the number, call if he or she wants to see the home. I went and showed the house. Well, it was pretty easy, but at the
No
end of the
money.
year, I didn't sell anything.
Oh, so you were just basically going, you were like a showing assistant in an
Yeah,
essence. You were just door opener,
I was
pretty much.
door opener, and then
Okay.
I realized that something wrong going on because I've been working for almost a year. I've been
Yeah.
putting a lot of work into it, and zero sales. My bank account started being smaller and smaller, and
Yeah.
I gotta either quit like many agents do in their first year, or find a job and being part-time agent, which not gonna work in this business either.
No.
Or I have to figure out the strategy how to take my business to the next level and like actually treat it like a business.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
And
that's where I'm
what did you
starting.
do?
And now in 5 years, in 4 years, I'm full-time agent. I have a team and we're selling lots of homes.
Nice. Nice. How many team members do you have, Roman?
Well, it's a small team with me and my wife being full-time agents, but we have a
Okay.
huge support team from our back assistant to photographer to videographer to virtual assistant who helping us with the business, with the transaction
Nice.
coordinators and so forth. Uh,
Nice.
so really, the team always outperforming an individual, and
So
this is always a great strategy. When we get to the point where I realize that it's not just about me, there is some room for growing. Team is the way to go.
got it. So you basically run a team, and 4 years down the road, you're a team owner, from basically from showing assistant to a team owner, and you have several agents on. You basically several people on your team. I understand, right? And you
Well,
mostly do the listings, right? You're a listing agent, right?
yes, I'm 90% listing agent. I love it.
Nice.
I love marketing. My wife more on the buyer side, but you know that all money in the listings.
Well, I mean, especially the market is shifting, and as Gary Keller says in his book, you got to list to survive in the in a shift. So I mean, regardless of what you do, those who have listings control the inventory and essentially control the market. So I think it's a smart move for you to do that, to specifically concentrate on listings. And I applaud you on that, dude. Good job, good job. And as far as your listing game, you know, you work mostly for sale by owners or expireds. What do you do?
Well, definitely for sale by others
Fizbos.
expires. They all great sources, and leaving that huge chunk of cash on someone else's pocket, I just can't afford it. I have my bills to pay. So I
Exactly.
work for sale by owners, expires. Those are the quickest way to gain business and get the money in my
They're
pocket.
motivated. They're motivated, right? For sale by owners, this is the most motivated people you can get because you know they're motivated to sell. And
Yeah,
I'm kind of joking around sometimes in the office. I say, hey, if I get a if I get a dog, I'm gonna name him Fizbo. You know. So, but yeah, you're right. They're motivated. They're motivated sellers, and not a lot of people, you know, understand that. You know, but it's okay. Somebody tells me there's no volume. There is volume. Um, um,
I can hear you well.
I can hear everybody well. There is volume. You just guys have to adjust your settings, I believe, because nobody's muted. Everybody can hear everybody. So yeah, there is volume here. So, but anyway, yeah, for sale by owners, they're the most motivated, and not a lot of agents know how to actually get them or how to even approach them. A lot of people say they have, you know, fear of actually picking up the phone or actually going to for sale by owner's home and talk to them. But I think it's just internal in the head. But let me ask you, Roman. So, how many listings you usually take a month from for sale by owners or expireds?
Well, at least if I wouldn't take 2 listings a month from for sale by owners, I would be concerned about my mortgage payment. So I need to at least two for sale by owners a month, plus all other sources of listings like sphere of influence and past clients and all that good stuff. The challenge with it, with sphere of influence and other sources, they're not as fast. They might know someone, they might just live their life and they buy a house and they keep on going. For sale by owners instead, those are people who are ready to sell right now. In most cases, they're even willing to pay some commission. I hear this all the time. I'll pay you $500.
Oh yeah, nice.
Sometimes
Yeah,
they go up to 3%. They're saying, "Hey, bring me a buyer. I give you 3%." Well,
yeah.
if I hear that, it's a great sign. Well, it means
That's
that
a great
they're
sign. Yeah, exactly,
already
exactly. No.
considering paying some. Even when they tell me that I don't want to pay any commission, it's still okay with me. I mean, if there is money in this deal, I'll turn around and my buyer can pay for it. I mean, it's not ideal. You have to
So
really give your
yeah,
property away
so
to,
you basically you're thinking outside the box, unlike most agents, which is great,
yeah,
which is
I,
awesome.
I
Yeah.
take on any deal possible the way we can make it work so everyone's happy. But I'm more traditional guy, to be honest. I mean,
Okay.
I'm in the house in order to list the house. I don't want to. I've never personally brought a buyer to for sale by owner, and quite frankly, I did intentionally because I believe that we have to have this work ethic, and
Hmm.
if I bring a buyer once, that means that another agent would do the same, and it always hurt to see that agents bring their buyers to for sale buyers and they doing double work for half price. I mean, if you're deal agent, then you get the whole commission. Why would you work for someone for half price?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
in the same way with buyers, we always want
Okay.
to work
Okay.
right. So don't want to focus on that too much, but I want to just share that
No, that's great. That's great. It basically shows who you are and what you do, what's
Right.
your game, and it looks like you got it worked out. And let me ask you, so when you were actually, well, I'm not going to ask you what you were doing when you were showing assistant, but obviously right now you're a team lead. Your time is valuable most. I mean, you have team people helping you with, with transaction stuff, with the paperwork, and obviously, obvious question comes up to all of our, listeners and viewers. I mean, the prospecting. How's the prospecting working for you? Do you sit down and do the calls yourself, or you actually delegate it to somebody, and why?
Well, I absolutely delegated, and the reason for that, it's absolutely shortage of time. I've been doing this myself for years now.
So you were
And
making calls yourself, right?
I've been doing this myself, and this is how I got all this. First, the knowledge on how to handle the objection.
Mm-hmm.
Second, that tough skin, if you will, to handle these people who are not really happy about you calling them, and it's difficult. You have to be ready, and after you get the person on the phone once, you have to have courage to make a second call. And
Exactly. Yeah.
for some reason, the second call always the lucky one. After you get over someone who's really rude, and you get back to business, the second call is always nice, and they can
And
say,
you
"Hey,
get somebody nice, right? And you schedule an appointment. And
that,
again, I mean, usually what I tell my agents, what's a really good appointment for sale by owner? I think a good appointment is with somebody who, number one, owns the house. Number two, they want to sell the house, and number three, you're actually in front of them in the same room. That's a good appointment in my book.
right.
Um, so so you were basically calling it yourself, and I know you started using the services of VirtuDesk
Right.
and delegating this task to one of your virtual assistants. And a lot of people just want to probably want to know how it works and if it's even worth it, or what's the story, how you. I mean, not only like saving time, because in my opinion, this is mostly like saving your time, and you can agree with me or on that, and pretty much tell people what's your thought on that.
Right. Yeah. Good question, Pyle. Yeah. Time's always valuable. I never say that time is money. You have to sometimes time a lot more valuable in some sources when you do another type of activities to generate money. If you're a new agent and you have no idea how to handle objections, if you have no idea how to convert, let's say, for sale by owners and expires, I would say just get that knowledge and do it yourself for a while until you feel like a shark in the tank. But if you're experienced guy and you busy 24/7 with listings, with marketing, with
Mm-hmm.
Facebook ads, and so forth, passing this type of work to and outsourcing this type of work to someone who can do it for a lot less than you would, that's a smart move. Now, if setting appointments is not actually that hard with for sale burners, it's time consuming, yes, but it's not that hard. And the toughest part of converting them is actually going on appointment and figuring out how to find that tiny key to this for sale by owner soul, so you can provide him the best possible quality service and at the end of the day sell his house. So I can go on average, I go about I take a listing from every fourth for sale by owner I go.
So your conversion is about roughly 25%,
About
right?
20 to 25%, yes.
Okay. Okay.
And it doesn't happen overnight. And
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say, it doesn't mean that I go on 5 appointments and every fifth going to sign with me at the preview if they set previews, because most likely they're going to set a preview appointment just to meet with an agent. And quite frankly, their intention to show the house is actually also to meet with an agent, believe it or not, but they most likely want to meet with agents. And
Because they think they're going to bring a buyer.
yeah. No, actually, they still, while you walking through, you qualify them for the listing, and they qualify you for the listing as well, and they asking you questions, and you can feel at the appointment what they want to do. They want to list, or sometimes a guy. One time a guy told me, "Well, my brother's an agent. There is no reason for us to meet." After a walkthrough and a good conversation, I end up listing the house right at the first meeting. What I'm trying to say is getting in the door is necessary, and it's not that hard to convince them to get you in the door.
Okay.
If you can outsource to someone like Virtudesk, it's a great time-saving tool that can be added to anyone's toolbox if you're at the point where you can get at the door and convert them. If you're new and you're scared of that guy, if you hire a virtual assistant who's going to get you 2, 3. Once I got 4 appointments in one day from my virtual assistant, and you walk in and you walk out without any without the documents signed, without any knowledge of what this gentleman or lady want to do with the house. Well, that's probably a little too early to hire an assistant. So you might spend your money too fast, and like I said, you can get out of the business.
So basically, hiring an assistant is not a magic bullet that will get you listings. You got to do the work yourself. The virtual assistant, the ISA, is there for you. Is there to put you in the door, to put you in the house with the decision maker. But the ultimate work must be done by you on converting that decision maker into hiring you. You have to develop the relationship. You have to basically, do your dance and to run your game so that you can actually convert it. It's not the job of your virtual assistant to get those deals converted for you.
Correct. It's just putting face to face, and then if you can convert and get the listing, get it sold, that's the job of the agent. That's why we carry licenses. That's why we are professionals, and we are actually carry this expertise. Some cases there are conditions that we can't overcome, but in most cases it's doable.
Got it. So let me ask you a question. When you hired your virtual assistant, Larice, she's working for you. When you actually picked her? How did you pick her? I mean, I wasn't present during the interview. My team was, but I'm just wondering how you actually picked her. How did you decide that she is the person who would be good for your business, good fit for your business?
Well, it's a little bit like dating.
I agree. But
when
she started working for you, she had a BPO experience, which means she worked at call centers, but she did not have a real estate specific experience.
Right. And this is how it really happened. I had four girls who were at the interview. I interviewed back then, and some girls we role played some of the scripts, and my goal was not really get the knowledge of the particular script out of them, but how they would react on my not really objections, but certain sentences that I said to get them out of the script. Because script is a great tool, and everyone is supposed to use them. But how you really get back into the script, that's a natural ability. And I picked this girl because she naturally talked with me about a topic off the script, and then she jumped right into, and I couldn't even feel it. I was like, yeah, this was great. She knew, I can't say zero, but she knew very little at the very beginning. So we spent the first few days practicing, not the full time, but 20, 25 minutes a day, practicing the scripts, practicing how to handle the objection. And this is another important reason to have knowledge prior to hiring an assistant, because your type, your personality, your way to handle objections, it has to align with your assistant.
Exactly.
If they handle it one way and you do it another way at the appointment, that's gonna look a little odd.
And also, it's very important to have a clear communication and clear expectations set with your assistants, so you would know what to give them. You would know what they need. They need to know what you're expecting of them. It's one thing. So for them to be effective for you, you need to have clear communication. They cannot be shooting in the blind, basically.
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
You can just let them go and tell them, do what you gotta do. Bring me appointments or bring me that. The way we set it, we have very specific tasks. The specific way I want her to complete these tasks, and then at the end of the day, I'm getting the results. What's completed, what's not completed. Sometimes it slows down, and I see that we go in the wrong direction, so I have to jump back in and either role play or find out what's going on. But at the end of the day, we working things out. But this is some sort of employment rather than just plug and play, hire a company and let them do all the work. You jump in.
it's a relationship, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a relationship. That's pretty much precisely the way it usually works. I mean, thank you for spelling it out, because I've personally, for my real estate business, I've been using virtual assistants, and I can relate, because the same way I had to train my VA, I had to I mean, yes, the virtual desk trains them. However, certain VAs have certain personalities, and you have to like adjust. Sometimes that personality may not work for you. Sometimes the personality will be perfect, but the thing is, they need to be able to have what I think most importantly is human connection with the lead. That's the key for them to develop human connection. And sometimes you don't really need to have real estate experience to do that. Basically, be natural and be human, and have what I call pleasing personality when to get it. So that's, I think it's important. And so why don't you just run us like a day-to-day kind of activities you do with her? Like, how does she start for you? I know she sends you start of day report, end of day report, but how do you actually, do you give her access to your leads, or how does it work?
Yeah, I provide her with, I mean, especially on for sale by owners, leads are out there.
Mm-hmm.
They can be accessible from Zillow, through Mojo. They're pretty inexpensive to buy through Mojo, but for some agents who are trying to keep the most in the pocket, maybe it's worth transfer them manually from Zillow. I personally buy them from Mojo just to save my time. And
she's using Mojo Dialer, right?
Yeah, Mojo Dialer. We mostly focusing on for sale by owners. She also helping me with follow-up on online leads as well, to help my other my better half, my wife, with buyer generation leads.
Oh, okay. So she's
And
doing that too. I didn't know she was doing that. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
as well. And it was a funny story when one of our online leads called me back, and he thanked me for her giving him a call every single day for the past 4 weeks. And he said, well, I literally have to wait a little with my finances, but when I'm ready, because of her persistence, I will definitely give you a call. We exchanged emails. We had a beautiful conversation, but it was online lead that didn't pick up the phone for 4 weeks, for almost a month.
And Lori's got him.
I believe she built some rapport for me, and we agents, we all busy, and
Exactly.
we all know that if lead won't pick up the phone in a week, I mean, most of us, and I'm guilty myself, I quit calling them. I just get tired of it. But that's another great tool that we are implementing with Virtual Desk. Consistency is always the key in this game. She's there all day, every day, 5 days a week, and I can be on appointment when she's making these calls for me. It's very helpful, even if she won't get into conversation right away. But it's still worth it.
Exactly, dude. I'm sometimes can be so busy, tied up in meetings, and I basically what I do, I sometimes forward my email to my VA, and she answers my email. She checks my email and responds from me. People think it's from me, but it's actually done from my VA. Also, what I did, the phone number at the office is routed to my VA in the Philippines. So anybody calling to the office, she's answering that phone call, which again kind of helps because people in and out of the office all the time, and sometimes it can just have to go to voicemail, and we rarely check our voicemails because we're just so swamped, and it's crazy, but we outsource even that as well right now. Sometimes what my VA does, I'm driving and I called her on Facebook and I say, hey, why don't you order me a Starbucks, that drink, flat white at that Starbucks. She goes online, she orders it for me, I pull it in, it's ready. It's going to that point because it's saving a lot of time, and it's addicting. It's addicting to have a good virtual assistant who can handle a lot of stuff for you, because once you discover how much time you have available, because you clear up all those crap tasks that needs to be done, you're gonna be more productive, and I can definitely relate to that. Yeah.
Definitely. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
So,
that story.
so Roman, and so basically, you at the beginning of the day, do you give her tasks every day what she needs to do, or do you like once a week tell her what you expected of her, and she kind of floats on her own, or how does it work
Well, in
for
most
you?
cases, yeah, we set up conversation or online chat, or any way, at the very beginning of the week,
Hmm.
setting goals of what marketing activity we're gonna do this week, and sometimes we go different directions. Sometimes, last time we had a mega open house. She called, I believe, 6,000 numbers of
Wow.
neighbors to prepare to. It was really amazing open house with jazz band with. Uh,
I know. I saw your open houses on Facebook and Instagram. You do amazing,
yeah,
guys. Roman hosts open houses with jazz bands. He put
yeah,
jazz band in the open house. That's just amazing. This guy doing it. Okay.
yeah. She called 6,000 neighbors
Uh-huh.
in a week. We didn't call for sale by owners that week at all. So we got tremendous amount of people. We literally didn't try to sell the house. We tried to invite them to the mega open house party.
The
And
seller was probably
yeah,
ecstatic.
and house sold. I mean, we already closed on it. I
Yeah.
mean, I expecting to get paid tomorrow. It was pretty thick paycheck though.
Yeah. Your seller was probably amazed, huh?
Yeah,
Definitely.
the seller was back to that story. He was selling with a different agent.
Uh-huh.
And he was selling it for 8 months, and he said, "I'm done. I just can't handle that." Then he
Okay.
tried to sell by owner, and
Okay.
she called him and she asked if I can stop by and check out the house. I came to the house. I was like, I know exactly why it's not selling. It needs marketing and it needs love. So I got the listing. We got multiple offers, pretty much full asking price offer accepted because fantastic terms of the deal.
Hmm.
And well, we closed. Now that's one of those great deals that virtual assistant brought to me. I did my job marketing and converting the lead to actual client, and done deal.
Done
That's
deal.
that's another great example. I'm glad we're talking about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's pretty much already paid for herself already with this. We bring you this listing.
Oh, she paid for the whole year just for that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And
Now all I'm doing is just getting profit.
yeah, and now it's just profit. Exactly. So, I mean, that's another thing. Like when you hire a VA who can actually, help you, and not only just bring you the business, but actually so much time is being saved. Because frankly, I know it's like $10. If you don't have an assistant, you are yourself. Then
Definitely,
it's
yeah.
obviously. And imagine how much time you would have to spend, let's say, calling those 6,000 people yourself, invite them to the open house. Man, you would go nuts. All right, by doing it. And
Yeah, I've done cold calling myself in the past, and I know after 2, 3, 4 hours of cold calling, you're exhausted. I
you
mean,
get burned out. Yeah.
yeah, you have even if you sat an appointment with for sale by owners, and you good and you generated 2 walkthrough, 2 previews, you don't have energy to perform right. You just all sucked into these calls. And if when outsourcing it, I collect all this energy and I throw it back on sellers, and they see that I'm enthusiastic, I'm out of the box thinker, and they hire me for the job.
Got it. So basically, she's helping you get the listings, And what do you? So in your recommendation, if you're new agents or you don't have sales skills yourself, so probably virtual assistant not gonna be for you. It's more of a for people who have more or less established business and who have some, uh, you know, game skills to be able to convert, right?
Correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. New agents can spend their budget real quick and go broke and get upset with this trade, if you will, and go out of business because, well, it's not something that necessarily gives you business. It saves you time. It gives you opportunity, and then it's the agent's task either convert the lead or pass on it. Sometimes I pass on some because I don't want that listing. I don't want to deal with that particular person. That's another great great opportunity with outsourcing, that now I can come in and qualify the seller. And in some cases, I turn around and I'm saying, well, I'm sorry, there is nothing I can do to help you. Have a great day.
Yeah.
But when you outsource and you get the good leads, you get you get the good listings, not leads, because now you can leverage your time and say, well, I don't want to take overpriced listing. I don't want to take very difficult seller. I'd rather go and continue searching until I find the good one. When you spend the whole morning doing it yourself and you finally got one, guess what? You're probably going to take it no matter what. If it's $200,000 overpriced, if he's yelling at you all the time, but if you can sign the agreement because you already spent 4 hours of your time just to get in the door.
Exactly. I can totally understand that, because sometimes when you do it yourself, you've done it so many times, and at a point, like, you spend time on a listing and you got to take it just for the sake of taking it, not for the sake of selling it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and you're right. The VA can actually qualify those leads for you because the number one, she went through all those phone calls, all those unanswered calls that you would have just spent your time dealing with this. And she would talk to the person, develop some sort of a rapport, find out the situation, and get you at a scheduled time there. So the ball is in your court, and you got to run with this ball to to get it to the time to the touchdown. And let me ask you another question. Besides calling, do you delegate other tasks to your VA, or is she just only doing calling?
Well, so far as just cold calls,
Okay.
I feel like we're spreading the amount of work pretty well with the rest of the team. So she is specifically focusing on this, and the reason for that, again, I like being on the top of the game, and I want to set certain tasks. I don't want to put too much on any of my partners, including Virtual Desk. If she does that, she gets better and better every day. And I want listed agent, list homes, cold caller, make cold calls, photographer, take pictures. So I don't want to mix it together. So the answer is no.
Got
No,
it.
she doesn't do
Got
anything
it.
for
Got it.
that.
Because we have people who, what I do for my brokerage, because I still run a brokerage.
Yeah.
Yeah, we provide virtual assistants. We put them even for transaction coordinators now, and
Mm-hmm.
agents in my brokerage right now have access to a transaction coordinator who can take basically a deal from contract to closing. So that agents could actually concentrate more on closing deals, and the VAs handling the paperwork part of it. Some agents, what they do, they just sign up the contract, turn it into the virtual assistant who's handling it, and she's ordering the photography, she's ordering the cleaners, she's ordering the sign installation. The only thing she cannot do, she cannot put the MLS box or be present during the photography, obviously, so that the agent has to do. And then obviously the what other agents do, they once the listing is taken, the VA is following up with the seller, gives update of what's going on, also calls title company, escrow, sets up the escrow, requests the documentation, title insurance. Once the deal goes into the contract, then she's handling the addendum back and forth with other people, with other agents. So that's another part that what my agents are using the virtual assistants for. So this is something to consider, obviously, and that's so. But overall, I mean, I'm glad you're happy with Larice, and she's really crushing it.
Yeah, yes, she does, and
Yeah.
yeah, those services they're absolutely great. As far as my team gonna grow, I would definitely look into these options.
Yeah, well, we're glad to be present during your growth, and we're probably just gonna wrap up the meeting right now. It's been a half an hour, so, but I wanted to say thank you, Roman, and if anybody wants to get a hold of me or Roman just to ask additional questions, feel free to pin us on Facebook, or on Instagram, or you can just call me. But if you have any questions right now, you can ask in the chat for attendees, but looks like nobody's asking anything. So we're gonna wrap up the meeting right now, Roman, and I wanted to say thank you again for your kind words, and looking forward to your success.
Oh yeah, thank you, Pavel, for having me on this chat today.
All right, man. Well, I'll talk to you later, brother. You have
All
a
right.
good one. All right, bye-bye.